Hello. So today I'm going to do a read, and this read is actually going to be the first of three, probably. But this one is specifically going to be for children. I'm going to make this for my son, actually. Shout outs to him. And I also want to share it with you guys because I think that it's actually significant when thinking about things like the relativity of one species to another. Same thing when thinking about different ethnicities, different demographics of any type. We'll just put it like that, you know? Yeah, so I am going to read from Sarah Young, Jesus Calling. I'm just going to do a random draw. If you guys aren't religious, that's fine. You don't have to listen, or you don't have to agree, or you could just not listen to this part, or you could turn it off. I don't care. Anyway, I opened up to page 110 and 111. Don't mind my nails. I've been actually like doing hair and a whole bunch of stuff, so my nails are outside in the park with my son earlier, actually. So, in any case, I am calling you to a life of thankfulness. I want all your moments to be punctuated with thanksgiving. The basis of your gratitude is my sovereignty. I am the creator and controller of the universe. Heaven and earth are filled with my glorious presence. When you criticize or complain, you are acting as if you think you could run the world better than I do. From your limited human perspective, it may look as if I'm mismanaging things, but you don't know what I know or see, or if I pulled back the curtain to allow you to view heavenly realms, you would understand much more. However, I have designed you to live by faith, not by sight. I lovingly shield you from knowing the future or seeing into the spirit world. Acknowledge my sovereignty by giving thanks in all circumstances. And that's Isaiah 6:3, and then 2 Corinthians 5:7, and then 1 Thessalonians 5:18. So that's just to give us a good kind of clean cut, clear vibe about where we're going with this read. And I think honestly, sometimes prayer is a little bit overwhelming, especially when I was little. I used to get really bored in church and do really bad things. Just be bad. I was really bad. So my point here, I think if you just give thanks, if you start to get bored, if you give thanks to God for the things that you can think of in that moment, and for the things that you are thankful for in that moment, then you can go do what you need to do. Because whatever thought he put in your head to go and do there might be also important in your journey somehow. So not to say get up, if you're in church, definitely not. But I'm saying during situations like this, like a video that you can choose to turn off if you would like, you can make that choice as long as you're thankful for either the opportunity or thankful for the information that you got from the video. And then just kind of move on. Yeah. I wanted to use a magazine because I have all these National Geographics. This one specifically is from October of 2001, so it's from a long time ago, but I just think it has really beautiful imagery, and I wanted to do a random flip, so we'll do this one. Once and Future Fury. This is California's volcanic north. So this is really interesting. My son actually took a trip up to see a volcano pretty recently, within the last couple of years here. But born of colossal collisions and far from dead, California's volcanoes have inspired fiery legends, New Age religions, and from time to time, sheer terror. Cinder Cone in Lawson Volcanic National Park is just one vivid reminder. This is by Prit J. Vesland and photographs by Jim Richardson. I'll just show you. If I can get the glare off the screen. Yep. I think this kind of stuff is really... Meet Kenya Man. I just flipped to next. So you guys know Kenya is right on the equator. And I believe there was a reference to that in the last read. I just think it's intriguing. Another leaky rewrite. Another chapter of African story of mankind's dim beginnings. That's kind of offensive. I don't think that they're dim. But we'll forgive them. It was 2001. So, in any case, I just wanted to share with you kind of some of the really cool... This is... another... I don't think you can really see... I don't know if you guys can see the pan. I don't know. In any case, when you're thinking about things like God, and when you're thinking about things like spirituality, whatever God you believe in, whether it be, you know, one that most people are familiar with, or whether you have a more abstract or not as well known a deity or higher power that you kind of pray to. I think that there's this necessity to kind of just be thankful for the things that you don't really think about anymore. So this was laying about the house. I don't know why it came out like that, but this was laying about the house, and I just happened to pick it up and find it. It caught my eye. It's just a way to kind of bring attention to old items that you're kind of ready to get rid of. I probably will use this for scrapbooking or for making a vision board or something like that. But I did just want to get some of the information that maybe the universe wanted to give me from it first. So we'll say thank you, National Geographic. Anyway. We're going to do a little reading, and we'll do it on tracking the leopard. Yep. So just finding little spots in your life that you can connect with each other. I didn't really think about that either, but it is another part of mapping out the way that you would like to see things unfold in the future. So we're going to use the unicorn deck. Yep, I chose it because it matches my shirt. I don't know if you guys have seen Save the Last Unicorn, but it's a really good... It's on... I believe it's on YouTube. Like the whole video. It might be. I know that they were starting to take videos off of YouTube, so whatever works, whatever's clever. Archangel Michael is on the bottom of the deck before we start. That's a really good sign, and I think that that's in part and partially because we brought our spirit guides into the mix with some prayer. Okay, perspective, number 23 came out. I'm just going to get 3 cards and then I'll tell you guys about what I see, okay? This is prompting. And this is Archangel Gabriel. So, this morning when I was drinking my tea, this little tea leaf came out. I just thought you guys should know, sometimes when you drink tea, the little piece of paper on the end of the string that sticks out has a message for you. And that message today was to be kind to yourself. So, remember to be nice to yourself and to others. So, the silence is also coming out here. Okay, so what I'm hearing, if you have felt like you're kind of in a situation perhaps where you don't really have, since you're children, I'm making this for children, you don't really have the perspective yet You don't have all the different experiences that adults have. And so, that being the case, sometimes it's kind of difficult to know what's going on with people who are way taller than you, who work way above you. Sometimes it's kind of hard to understand these things like spirituality or religion. And you can see these two men kind of fighting with each other in the bottom of that picture. And then up top, they've got their unicorn. So what that can tell you is that if you're able to use your mind or your head in any way to try to stop whatever conflict you see around you, then you can also use that same skill to stop conflict inside of you. So if that's something that you can do every morning or every evening when you're praying, then you're able to kind of actually prompt. Or what prompting means is just you're cueing somebody to do something. So you're letting them know it's their turn, or you're showing them what they're supposed to be saying, or you're letting them know what their next action is going to be. That's prompting. So it says, call a friend today. So that's kind of what I was saying. I'm pretty sure some of you guys have probably older siblings and younger siblings and cousins and all these, big families, right? Maybe, or maybe it's just you by yourself. If that's the case, then I just think that you can look around and look at everyone's nose, for example, in your family and figure out whose nose do I have on my face? Whose eyes do I have? Whose mouth? Who are they do they look most similar to? And then go ask that person a question. Just call, and that's what I mean by call a friend, is just go have a conversation with somebody about a perspective, either one of the senses that you actually receive information from. So do they like the taste of this? Do they like the smell of this? What's their favorite visual attribute of themselves? What do they like the most on the inside of their brain? What do they like about the outside world? Those are all good questions to kind of prompt a conversation to start. And in that way, you can kind of investigate their perspective a little bit. You can figure out what's the difference between being my height and their height. What are you seeing at that height? What are you smelling? Is it different than what I smell at this height? We can't really necessarily know, but your angels or your spirit guides or whatever entity it is that you pray to, or if you don't pray, then this could just be a literal energy. So, even in science, energy moves in frequency waves, etc., etc. And this could definitely just be a really good frequency. So if you don't believe in religion, that's perhaps the way that you'll be feeling there. It can just help you with prompting when you try to start with something really positive. It then helps the rest of whatever it is that you're doing have the outcome of really positive energy as well. So that energy matches this energy. These are both biblical references in case you didn't know, but this is just one prayer every day of the year. And I just used it to flip a random page because we don't really care what day it is. We just like what's written down there. But Archangel Gabriel says, call in the pure white light. And I do want to talk about the reference to white light. I think it's amazing to look at the whole entire rainbow spectrum. Black actually has a lot of colors all in it as well. It's like the absence of color. And then white is all the colors together. So there's, it's got two sides to it. When we're actually trying to show somebody black and we take a piece of paper and we put it in the printer and we're trying to show them that in this actual picture, there is light coming down from the back, in the background right there. That's where the printer didn't put any kind of ink on the paper. So it's kind of strange. It's like when you see those black and white pictures and then you see the actual stream of film that they came from, and it's backwards. So it's called an inverted picture, like the black and white is inverted. And that's kind of what light does naturally. So although white light is really great, each person has their own aura or their own kind of bubble of energy. You know how you have personal boundaries in space, so you should be able to, kind of swing your arms without hitting anybody or whatever the case may be. That's okay for you to have that boundary. And your aura is the energy inside of that boundary, inside of the bubble with you. So your aura can be a lot of different colors. You don't necessarily see people's aura right off the bat. It's something that you can train yourself to do. But the white light, it could be white light, could be blue. Your aura could be purple. It could be orange or pink or green or blue or red, or could be any color out, indigo, could be any color out there. So just keep an open mind. Try to not make a decision about which color your aura is going to be, and just take a moment and listen to other people's perspectives. Maybe they know what color their aura is, and that will help you figure out part of what color your aura is. So let me give you an example. For me, if my aura is blue, let's use this t-shirt, right? Just, it doesn't have to do with the color of people's actual t-shirt or their clothing at all, but I'm just using this as an example. So let's just pretend that my aura is blue, okay? If I'm a really grouchy person, and I'm like really like all the time, and I cry a lot, and I'm just very emotional all the time, and I'm very good friends. You're a very good friend of me, and we're very, close, and I'm a good person, but I'm just always kind of like pessimistic, which means on the negative side of things, instead of optimistic, which is on the positive side of things. Then it kind of turns into a situation where you may realize that my blue aura has something to do with my blue disposition. I might be feeling blue, sad and blue. So you could also look at me and see a orange or a yellow aura or some type of a little red aura right behind me, okay? And I'm just using that as another example, but you might notice that I'm very angry all the time, very yelling, tend to be relatively stubborn, maybe a little bit judgmental, and maybe that's your interpretation of what somebody with a red aura looks like. So if I know that my aura is red, or if I know that my aura is blue, and I express it to you, and you also get to see my personality, it can help you start to develop a feeling of what an aura looks like, what it might feel like, what it might taste, smell like, etc., etc. All the senses that we just talked about, okay, including touch. But I think that will help you to figure out for yourself what color is your aura. So, going to do a little bit of mix and match fairy tale to go with this perspective and prompting of Gabrielle Angel, or Angel Gabrielle. Yeah, just said it backwards. So maybe Gabrielle, Archangel Gabrielle, is trying to ask you to have perspective right now. So just try to keep all of the different ideas and all of the different feelings that you have during the time that you're trying to figure out the color of your aura, and write them on a piece of paper. So you can kind of look back at it in a second and just kind of say, oh, this was what was going on above in my own mind, maybe, right? And now that I've listened to my heart and found my unicorn, then I can find my unicorn in the clouds as well. I now know what color my aura is, or I can kind of feel what a, a purple aura might feel like, or what a yellow aura might feel like, or a orange aura. You might get an idea. So if you get an idea, write it down. This is the bottom of the deck. This is the mix and match fairy tale deck, but this was the bottom of the deck. This is really important for you to write down exactly the advice that you're hearing from your guardian angels or your spirit guides, is what we'll call them, so that there's no confusion. And basically just keep it there for yourself to think about, because if it's helping you to figure out, once it tastes like this, it kind of, every time I think about the color blah blah blah, you choose a color, I don't know what color you're thinking of. Every time I think of this color, I taste a sweet sensation in my mouth. It's like a sweet taste. Yep. Then you can start to write it down. Say, what kind of sweet is it? And like, is it chocolate? Or is it something like a Sour Patch Kid? Or is it like you just got done brushing your teeth? Or I don't know what kind of taste it is. And so if you're going to share that information with somebody else, or if you're going to figure out for yourself later on down the line when you might not remember exactly what it is that you're thinking right now, or feeling, seeing, smelling, tasting, then it's nice to have it written down. So it's a good little tidbit of advice there. Okay, let's see what comes out for you guys. Okay, so I just want to mention some things. This king came out in the reverse, right on top of the perspective. Okay, so this perspective card is number 23. And this might be like you when you're 23 years old. So when you're older. Okay, this is like later on down the line. So we'll say this is maybe him when he's a baby, and then he's a teenager, and then now he's older. He's, 23 years old. Okay? This information that you have here can really help you later on when you're an adult like me, who is old and decrepit. No, just kidding. Who has a lot to think about every day. So gets harebrained, forgets stuff all the time. You know how your parents probably are sometimes. Everybody forgets things sometimes. But when you don't remember what you might have thought at whatever age it is that you are, then it's nice to have a piece of paper that has a little reminder for you. So that's the first part. And then also that there's no right perspective. So there's no correct perspective. You can't really say, yes, you are right, and no, you are wrong about anything. I know that sounds crazy, but that is the kind of world that we live in. So sometimes you can say, can you add to 4? And you say, of course I can add to 4. Who could add to 4? But then I say, how? How do you add to 4? And you tell me the answer, which is 2 plus 2. And then that's your answer. So that's your one perspective. That's your perspective. But someone else, when you ask me how to get to 4, maybe I'll say 3 plus 1. So I'm a different person than you. So you're one person, I'm another person. That's kind of what they're saying, is that you're going to do a lot of changing between now when you're a child and then, when you get older. And in that process of you becoming the king of your own castle or the queen of your own castle, you're going to really have a lot to think about. That's what all these clouds are, thought bubbles, right? Like the cartoons. And when you have little notes from your own spiritual journey as a child all the way up through your adulthood, it really helps to figure out those three, three people are looking at one fight right there. So how can we help all of these people, especially these two, right? By adding these three. So then it gives you an example. You can use addition, maybe to fix a problem so simple as an argument between people. Maybe you can figure out the right amount of money to give to each person, just because I don't know how else to express that to you. Yeah. So you remember in Little Red Riding Hood, when she has her hood on and she's running through the woods, trying to get to her grandmother's house, and the wolf is chasing her, looking at her like, oh my gosh. Okay. So when you have that idea, like, oh wow, her aura is red. Her whole head is red. Everything, when she runs, it just flows behind her. She's got this red, she's Little Red Riding Hood, right? She's a red cape, just, right? When you think about that in your head, then it kind of gives you, it's like dangling that little piece of candy. So remember I was just telling you what is, when you think about the color red, you think about Twizzler sticks or Starburst or something, and that's like what you're tasting in your mouth. Because if that's the case, no wonder even a dog would be panting, ready to get some Twizzlers in his mouth, right? That's a great way to make them sit and stay and prompt them to do things that you need them to do, right? So once you've done that for yourself in your mind, you can write it down, and then later, when you're older and you're trying to think about these things some more, then you can also go ahead and use those little reminders. Oh yeah, Twizzlers. I remember I wanted Twizzlers that day because I was thinking about the way I was going to twist my perspective around. So I wrote down some notes for myself saying that I thought that red auras taste like Twizzlers, right? And maybe red auras are very sweet. Maybe they're like a Valentine's Day, those little Valentine's Day hearts that people give you that say I love you on them. Maybe that's kind of what this is. Maybe that's the color that you associated with that taste or with that thought or feeling or whatever the case may be. But you get what I'm trying to say. Just write it down. Whatever came to mind, write it down so you can prompt yourself later. Okay. And then last little piece of advice here, which is really cute. This came out with the princess card. And it's Archangel Gabriel, obviously. So what I'm saying to you now, you could be saying to someone later. So what I'm getting from Gabrielle, I forgot what it is. Is it Jabba the Hutt? It's Jabba the Hutt. But there's some Gabba. I'll have to look it up for you guys, and I'll let you know next time. But basically, I'm feeling that she's talking. You need to talk about it with somebody, potentially. Like I was saying in the beginning. Even if you just talk with yourself about it, then it's kind of a conversation between you and whoever you pray to. Whether it be like Dia de los Muertos or just like a regular day in, church or something like that. Whatever it is that you believe in, if it's you talking to Ganesh, if it's you talking to Moses or Jesus or whoever it is that you honor. That's the way that you can keep your crown on your head. Looking good. Okay? These two go together. This is like maybe her father. Or maybe this is, these people, their gender doesn't really matter. So this could be the queen. And this could be the prince. okay? But either way it goes, this is you when you're little, and then you when you're older. Or this is you, and this is the information that you're not quite sure how to interpret from the adults that talk when you go to church. Like when you're looking at videos of like the Vatican and whatnot, they hold a scepter. They're very royal looking, and they're very regal, right? But it might be really hard to understand what they're talking about, which is why we do things like this. So even if you don't understand right now, all of that cloud, all that thought that he was blah 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 talking about, it's good for you to talk with somebody, your parent, a close family friend, someone that you trust, your teacher, or if you have a religious institution, you can keep watching these kind of videos. It's just good to talk about it so that you have somebody to understand what it is you're looking for. When you have questions, you should have somebody to give you answers about spirituality. So that's all I really have to say today. I'm going to go ahead and challenge you guys. I'm going to give you a challenge. I'm not going to check it or grade it. Just kidding. It's a YouTube video, of course I wouldn't. But I'm going to challenge you to look at your pets. If you've got pets, or if your next door neighbor has a pet, or if you have a pet at school, or if one of your friends has a pet even, okay? Pick some random animal, even if it's the squirrel running around outside, okay? And try to get an idea, breathe really deep, and try to figure out on your exhale, try to think about what color the aura of the animal might be in your mind, and then write down why. And maybe that's a great place to start. Okay? Then next time, maybe, once you've got a good idea of what color the animal's aura is, then you can start to put together some type of a big picture idea of yourself. So do some type of a collage where you cut out and then paste everything onto a page about yourself in the colors of your own aura. Maybe you paint, or maybe you make music, maybe you do mathematics, whatever way that you'd like to demonstrate your individuality, whatever belief system it is that you like to follow. Go through, figure out what you can find, and then make a mural that's a picture of yourself on just a piece of paper, or even just write a list, or whatever works for you, whatever makes you excited to write down. Whatever came to mind at that time is perfect. So I will talk to you guys later. Shout outs to my son. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.